Hi, welcome to this video. In this video, I will discuss some rules for declaring variables in JavaScript language. There are certain names and characters which you cannot use for your variable names. These names which you cannot use are called reserved words. Reserved words are words that JavaScript keeps for its own use. For example, the word war or the word with. Certain characters are also forbidden in variable names. For example, the percentage sign and the ampersand sign. You are allowed to use number in your variable names, but the variable name must not begin with number. So 99 variable name is not okay. Now have a look at valid variable names. You can give variable name like my var, you with. You can use underscore for the variables. This teacher and student variable is valid, and you can add numbers to the variables but not at the beginning. Let me show you by doing some examples. I have this simple index.html file and I have attached external JavaScript file myscript.js, this one, and these two files are located inside the exercise folder. As I said, you cannot use JavaScript reserved keywords as a variable names. For example, if I declare var, this will generate an error because this is an invalid variable name. I will save this script and I will show you the result inside the browser. If I click and select inspect, and under the console window you can clearly see it is stating some error, and this error is because of this invalid variable. So you cannot use JavaScript reserved keywords for the variable names. It will generate errors. Let me comment out this invalid variable name. I will write a valid variable name like var, my var. Now this is a valid variable name. JavaScript will not generate an error for this variable because this is not the JavaScript reserved keyword. There are some certain characters like percentage which you cannot use for variable names. For example, var my percentage variable. This is totally invalid variable name because of this percentage sign, and it will generate an error. A valid variable name would be var my underscore variable. You can use underscore for the variable names. Variable names can have the underscore inside it. There are also some other certain characters like var and the student, the teacher, and ampersand sign. Ampersand sign is not allowed for the variable names, and it will totally generate an error. If you create a variable like this and which has an ampersand sign, it will generate an error. So this is totally invalid variable name. I will also comment it out, and the valid variable name for this can be the teacher and student. So this is the valid variable name. As I said before, numbers are not allowed at the beginning of variable names. For example, var 99 variable. This is totally invalid variable name because of this number at the beginning of the variable, and it will generate an error. Let me comment this also out, and the valid variable name can be variable 99. So always be careful for the variable names. Now this one is okay. This is a okay variable name and you can use it. So these are some basic rules to write valid variable names and to avoid invalid variable names. JavaScript is a case sensitive language. The variable first name with upper N and the variable first name with lower n are two different variables. So you have to take care of case sensitivity in JavaScript language. It is not just about variable. JavaScript case sensitivity also apply to JavaScript keywords, function names, event handlers, and object properties. Let me give you an example of case sensitivity in the JavaScript. I will use variables for that. I will declare my first variable var first. Now notice I am going to write an uppercase N and name. I will assign it some value, Daniel, and now let me declare one another variable with the same name, var first. Now notice I am going to write the lowercase n and I will assign it some value John. JavaScript will treat these two variables differently because the first one has a uppercase n and the second one has a lowercase n. These are two different variables. Let me output the first one variable to the browser. I will use document.write method, and I will copy this one variable. I will paste it inside it, and let me add a line break. Document.write. I will add a break element. This will just create a line break in the HTML document, and let me also display this second variable to the browser. I will copy this name and paste it inside here. I will save this script and let me show you inside the browser. So you can see two different names are rendering on the HTML page. So these are two different variables. JavaScript will treat these two different variables and they are holding different values. Let me open a Chrome browser and we will run some statement inside the console window. I will go to console window. For example, if I declare x is equal to 10, and then if I declare capital X is equal to 20, and now if I alert the lowercase x and I will enter, it will print out the value of the lowercase. It will not print out the value of the capital X. And if I declare a variable with y with value of 50, and if I try to access the uppercase y, it will generate an error. You see, because the uppercase y has not yet been declared, only the lowercase y has been declared. So the JavaScript is a case sensitive language, and this applies to all the variable names, function names, keywords, events and objects properties. Camel Case is naming convention in JavaScript language. Camel Case is what the originators of JavaScript decided to go with. Let me declare some Camel Case fashion variable var my Camel Case. Now, what is Camel Case? If you have multiple words in a variable name, the first word is all over the lowercase, and any word after the first one begins with uppercase letter. As you can see, the C is in a uppercase, and also the C of case is also in an uppercase. Let me write some more example of Camel Case fashion variables, like var my first variable. This is Camel Case fashion variable, and I will write some more example like first name. This is also Camel Case. Var last name. So these are the Camel Case fashion variables like mic age. So this is the naming convention in the JavaScript, and it would be best practice to follow these language conventions.